So today I am getting all of my what I call Herbal Nyquills prepared for the apothecary. This is something that I make this time of year, and I just have to make enough to keep it going through the season. But it's never made a lot of sense to me why, if you are not feeling well and you know that your body is fighting like a head cold or some type of nasty cold, why on earth people would put something from a drugstore where everything is artificial and it's full of petrochemicals. Yeah, petrochemicals. That's what that bright blue and green color is. So how are you supposed to try to get well and get better when that's what you're putting in your body? Anyway, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. So one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to create an herbal NyQuil. And it has been so helpful. And people come in the apothecary all season long asking for the herbal NyQuil because it helps to drain all that excess fluid. It's antimicrobial, it's antibacterial, and it's going to help support and nourish you back to health when you can't sleep, you can't rest, and you just feel awful and agitated. So I created my own. So today I'm going to show you how I do this in case you have anything that's close to you where you could create your own version. But what we're going to do is 2 different blends, okay? So I know everybody loves elderberries, and so do I, but they are an immune booster, okay? They boost the immune system. So if you or someone you know and you have an autoimmune condition and you get one of those nasty colds, one of those nasty head colds, upper respiratory, you unfortunately have to stay away from elderberry. So that's where I like to use the Aronias. So that way I will have an herbal NyQuil for people with autoimmune conditions that's safe for them, and then people who do not have autoimmune conditions and they can use that elderberry. And what I'm going to use for the relaxing effect is a blend of white vervain that grows literally everywhere. It's very, very soothing, very calming for your nervous system, and magnolia bark. So this is a 2-part blend where we make 2 different extracts for this blend. So now we can just get going on it. So very much like your fire ciders, I use garlic in this. And I'm going to do some lemon because I really love not only the flavor of lemon, but I also love the limonene that's in our citrus. I'm using the peels. I think we've talked about this because I love using the citrus peels when we know they're organic because they are highly sprayed with pesticides. We're going to get lots of that in there. And then it just tastes absolutely fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous. So, organic lemon, garlic. Remember, I like to use the peel. That in there. Lots of yummy garlic. And ginger. So we're going to do some fresh ginger root in here. Ginger is so antimicrobial. It's great for inflammation. It's amazing for pain when you just don't feel well. Okay, so we are going to put some marjoram in here. Marjoram is a highly, highly antimicrobial plant. I like to use it topically also for any type of different like skin infection. I like to call it nature's bacitracin, and I do make a blend like that at the apothecary. So we are going to get marjoram in there. And I use, oh, this smells so good. So good. Okay, our nasturtiums. Remember, our nasturtiums are that hot, spicy. So they're going to help to warm up those tissues. But at the same time, nasturtiums have an antibiotic type effect to help to support immunity when you need it. And it's that time of year. I grow nasturtiums just for fire ciders and just for my Herbal Nyquill blend. So that way we can get all of this in here. Okay, bee balm. Gotta get those Monarda leaves in there. They're nature's oregano. If you don't grow it and you know how to identify it, bee balm or Monarda, it grows in big, beautiful, sunny pastures. You'll find it in parks. It's absolutely everywhere. It's in a lot of wildflower blends too. So we've got to get that in there because it's really high in thymol, and that thymol really helps to support the body when there's any type of an active virus. Okay, so we're going to use some of my garden sage. Remember, sage is cooling and it thins mucus. On top of all those antiviral properties, we want that cooling if we feel hot and agitated, and it's going to help thin that mucus when you're congested with a head cold. You know, it's just sad to me when people tell me that they've had sinus infections and so they had to go get put on an antibiotic, because in the long run, that's only going to weaken their immune system. It destroys the natural ecology of bacteria that our sinus cavities need, that our mucous membranes need. And so when you can do something like this, you're supporting your immunity, because antibiotics, they create depression. You know, we've got to have, antibiotics should be used for life-threatening conditions when we have a life-threatening bacterial condition. So this is yarrow. So we are going to put yarrow in here because yarrow is a vasodilator. So if you have a fever, you don't want to suppress it, right? Like, we've got to stop suppressing our fevers. Jeez. You know, we are not lacking in Tylenol, that is for sure. But this is going to help you have a safe fever by opening up that blood flow and opening up your pores so that your body can get to a higher temperature state, so that your temperature and your fever with your immune system can do its job to fight off the virus. So goldenrod, it's in full bloom right now. Goldenrod is amazing for supporting all things mucous membranes. I love this in my allergy blends. I love it in UTI blends. It supports your kidneys. And it also has a latex in here that's actually a nice pain reliever. It's absolutely fabulous. So we're going to get goldenrod, and it is in full bloom. Like right now, full bloom. So it's really hard not to find it. It is an herb that you want to have around. A lot of people will tincture it, and I used to also, until I learned that this plant's chemistry is better as either a vinegar or water soluble. So now I just keep a lot of it in the apothecary, and I save it for tea blends, or I will add it into some of these mucous membrane supports also. Okay, so now here we go with our berries, okay? So one is going to be aronia. Those high levels of antioxidants, high levels of phenolic acids. Oh my gosh, I love aronia berries. And like I had said in one of my other videos, if you're in the Indianapolis area and you don't have access to aronia, my friend Jessica Carroll with New Morning Mercies grows this on her farm for her CSA. So if you are someone who has an autoimmune condition and you need to avoid elders, this is the berry for you. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. All right, so we've got our aronias there. And then on this one, we have elders. Still some fresh elders. I went out yesterday and Brian and I went and collected the last of what we thought were elders, and there were still so many that we couldn't even fit them in the basket. So I'm gonna have to go out tomorrow and get the rest of them for the season. really get stocked up on those. So, got our berries going in there. And then what I'm going to do with these is fill these up with an apple cider vinegar and a honey. Okay, so these are the hot fish peppers that my friend Lindsay Johnston gave to me when we were exchanging seeds. She brought these to me as a gift, and I thought that was the sweetest thing ever. So just kind of like you would do a fire cider, except I didn't add onion to this because I didn't want that flavor profile. But these are extremely smoking hot. So these are really going to add a lot of heat to help open up those congested heads and airways. Woo! Heck yeah. Aren't they pretty? Man, nature's medicine is just gorgeous. So now, I'm going to kind of create kind of like an oxymel effect, right? Can you just imagine these flavors? Aronia berries are so like tart and sweet at the same time. Then you've got your medicinal aspects of your honey, which is also a beautiful antimicrobial, soothing. So like these are really balanced, right? Like say you have a really dry cough, honey's gonna help with that, right? And then some of the herbs that you have in here, those are more astringent. So the honey is gonna help balance that out. So that way you have also some hydrating, soothing, in case you have a nasty, like such a dry cough. Okay, so the rest we're gonna fill this with apple cider vinegar. And just like you were to make any other infused vinegar, like, you know, fire cider, any of that stuff, I'm gonna let this sit for a good 4 weeks. And then always remember to label what you put in things, because speaking from experience, man, you will forget what you've put in there. And after it's sat there for a few weeks, you won't remember because you can't really tell. Now, you can tell what's aronia and you can tell what's elder because the sizes of the berries are so different. But gosh, I mean, just look how pretty that is. This is what nature's medicine is. It's just outstanding. Okay, now we're going to move on to the second phase, okay? Okay, so this is the second part to this blend, okay? So this is where we're gonna do a tincture base. And y'all know I love to use brandy for my internal tinctures. It just adds a bit of a nutritional profile because brandy is made from fruit, so it has more antioxidants in it. But also it just tastes better. I mean, they just taste so much better that way. Because what I'm gonna do with these is they're both going to set equally for 4 weeks. And then when I strain them out, when I bottle these at the apothecary, I always add 3 tablespoons of this tincture to every bottle of my Herbal Nyquill. So right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, this is my white vervain. So something about vervains that I find super interesting is that they do block iron absorption. So it's not a plant that you would want to take, you know, all the time if it was something that you were dealing with. You were dealing with anxiety and you're carrying around, you know, blue vervain that you get from your local herbalist, blue or white, because I like to use both of them. But for just an Herbal Nyquill blend that you're only taking as needed when you need it, it's not that big of a deal whatsoever, because you have so many other amazing herbs in there. But we're going to use the whole plant. So the stem, the leaves, the seeds, all of that is going to go in there. He's funky. To me, that's just such a symbol of what the vervains are for. So you take like a frazzled nervous system, right? Like look how It's like just screams frazzled. Nothing is put together. Blue vervain is such an amazing plant. Brian loves it. It is acrid. So it's not a plant that you really want to ever have as a tea. Because I don't know anybody who would want to drink it. It tastes awful. It is so bad. It's another reason why I'm making a tincture of it. And Brandy just adds some flavor profile and then adding it into the Herbal Nyquill, which already tastes lovely. Just makes it more palatable. So we've got that in there. Got that. And then here's our magnolia. So magnolia leaves taste phenomenal. They're really demulcent, which means they have a lot of moisture. So if you were to take magnolia leaves and add them to like a soup or a stew, I like to put them in broths, they will naturally thicken a little bit. So don't discard your leaves. Like put them in a separate bowl. I like to make wild spice blends out of them. I like to make teas out of them. I like to use them topically in some of my herbal facials. Like they are just fabulous and they taste good. They're kind of ginger meets rosemary kind of flavor. They pair really well with sassafras, but sassafras is also demulcent, so I've really had some experiences with that because I would go to make a tea and then the whole tea was super thick because both of them are very demulcent. So we're just going to take the leaves off. Like I said, put those in a bowl. Don't discard them. Let them just kind of air dry. Then you can keep them in a mason jar and use them for everything. Use them in cooking through the winter months. Make some magnolia leaf tea. So remember how we are going to break up our medicine, right? Because I did a magnolia bark tea video for people who just struggle to sleep, who have anxiety. Inside here, that's where all that medicine is. Man, it smells fabulous. It's just outstanding. So being able to break all that up, put that in there. I just love tree medicine, tree bark medicine. There's so much we can do with apples coming up. I can't wait to make some apple bark and working with our, tree bark syrups. And we have so much to do still this whole fall season that I can't wait. So we've got a bunch of barks in here now. You want to always break them up. You just have to expose that inner bark in there. But when you add this to your herbal blend, the apple cider vinegar blend, then this is what gives you that sleepy feeling so that you can rest when you don't feel good. Because both of these work with an agitated nervous system. It's just great. Magnolia bark is fabulous to help you sleep. I just wish that more people knew about these nature's remedies because then they wouldn't constantly be reaching for a pharmaceutical sleep aid that can have so many side effects. And anxiety. We have so much. We just have so many amazing plants to support a nervous system that grows all around us to where we don't always have to reach for those pharmaceuticals that have really nasty side effects. So here we go. We need plant medicine because it supports our innate immunity. Our innate immunity is what the immune system that we were born with, not fake immunity. So I'm going to let that sit. Not pretty. And then all of that alcohol is going to help extract all of the plant medicine that we want. And that right there, this right here are nature's remedies that from the gardens, from the landscape, that I call Herbal Nyquill.